So with this episode of One Piece, we get some much needed backstory on the toys. We find out that the toys are all human. And this is something that is very unique and will play a vital role in the Dressrosa arc from the future onward. I can tell the way it's going out from right here onward, because now that we know that, I'm guessing Doffy's crew was a part of this, we find out that Doffy brought a Devil Fruit user in 10 years ago and turned these people into toys. We find out something very interesting. So, pretty much, now all these people are turned into toys, and the main things we can get from this episode is that when they're turned into toys, people do not remember them, because there was an entire instance in this episode where there's this toy tugging at his girlfriend, or his ex-girlfriend, technically now, and he's like, remember me, and you could tell the girl didn't remember him, pushed him off, and said, oh, ew, it's a toy with a human disorder, and so we could see that most likely the people that are turned into toys are forgotten about. That's why we can easily see. It's also pretty much explained with the dog toy that says, no, that is my wife and that is my child, and then pretty much you had the toy soldier go up there and ask the two, and pretty much they do not remember a father figure or a husband. So right there, we could clearly see that most likely all these toys are humans and they get forgotten about. So that's really interesting. I like how this episode did that a lot, and it definitely shows you more, I guess, backstory and drama and tragedy in this entire arc. So besides that entire factor, which was the main central point of this episode, that was a nice good plot drop for Dressrosa's arc, we get some interesting fights in this episode. We get to see the fight between Shinjao and Luffy continue this episode, which I was excited for. I'm really excited. After that last episode with that freaking build-up, I was like, oh my god, Shinjao and Luffy. The fight was really interesting. We get to see some actual combat moves from Shinjao this episode. We can see that he loves using his head as a weapon in this episode. I mean, he's spinning on his head and doing like the 8 impact fist, and he's trying to hit Luffy like a tornado. And we see that Garpus did something to him, probably to impact his entire title, because he was called Shinjao the Drill. So, very interesting. We also find out that he lost his treasure somehow. So hopefully we get that explained very soon in the next couple of episodes. So really, this episode I feel was handled well, it was properly done, and I like how it was done in the very end. I mean, we get to see a little bit of what's going on with Law, Fujitora, and Doffy in this episode too. Really, that scene didn't really matter because, I mean, it was just pretty much what we knew was going on. Law cannot contact Nami, so really there's not really much interesting going on there besides the entire Fujitora summoning a fucking meteor and just launching that. Oh yes, yes, yes. That is freaking awesome, okay? Just every time Fujitora sends down a meteor, I hear hallelujah in my head. So besides that one, I feel like this episode was good. It was mainly meant for backstory of the toys, and now I'm fine with that. I'm fine with this episode, even though it didn't focus on the fight I want to see of Shinjao and Luffy. I am fine with it focusing on the other things going on and trying to give us more backstory over the overall arc. So everybody, tell me your thoughts on this episode of One Piece. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite moments about it? I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.